In this section, we're going to talk about tactics. What should you do against different styles of player when returning serve? The first tactic to remember is that off any long serve, that is any serve that's only going to bounce once on the table, we should be top spinning the ball. That'll get us into an attacking position in the rally and give us the best chance of winning the point. Now it doesn't matter whether we're playing a defender, an attacker, a blocker. Off a long serve, our tactic is always the same. Let's get in and make a strong top spin attack. The next tactic to consider is off the short ball. What we want to do here is always play a shot that's going to be the most difficult for your opponent to return. So to find out what your opponent doesn't like, you've really got to consider your options. Now, you've got three basic options. You can push long, or you can flick. Now, with all those strokes, what you need to focus on is your spin, speed and placement. So vary where you're placing the ball to. Try going to the forehand, to the middle, to the backhand. Try varying the spin, whether you put a little bit of backspin, a lot of backspin, and even the speed. So you can go long or you can flick faster. Just vary all those things and try and find what your opponent doesn't like. So to help you get started with your tactics off a short ball, we're going to make some generalizations. So first we're going to look at what you should do against an attacking player. So when I'm playing a good attacking player, what I like to do off the short ball is keep it short and low back to the attacking player, and this makes it really difficult for them to get their attack in, and that's their strength, so I'm taking away their strength. So I get in and try and keep it short and low, and I'll figure out which side they least prefer, and then I'll go to that side more often. Another tactic I'll try against a good attacking player is to push the ball long and fast to either of the corners and see which they don't like, or flick the ball wide to the corners. Now what this does is it cuts down their time they have to attack, because I'm going to flick it quite fast or push it quite fast with a lot of backspin if I push it, to make it harder for them to attack. And then I need to be ready for that next ball, because it is going long, so they will attack it. But again, because I'm playing it long and fast, I'm cutting down their time. Hopefully I'll catch them by surprise, and then I'll be able to counter attack. So now let's look at some tactics against a defensive chopper. Now, against a defensive chopper, they're not going to be looking to attack straight away. So I've got a bit more room to work with here. So ideally, I want to keep the chopper quite close to the table, because then when I get my attack in, he's got to get back quickly. So I'd like to keep the ball short if I can, but don't feel pressured to. I don't want to make mistakes and lose the point by just pushing into the net. So I've got a bit more room to push it long if I want to. But again, try and keep the ball short so that they're close to the table, and then when I do make my attack, it's harder for them. So now let's look at the tactics to use against a blocker who doesn't have a great topspin. So off the short ball, I'm going to mix up placing the ball short or playing heavy backspin. Because if I play a heavy long backspin, then I'm going to get a backspin ball back, which I can attack. And also, when I play the short ball, that's just going to stop them from getting comfortable. So I'm not really going to flick the ball too much, because then that gets them into that blocking rally that they're comfortable with. So instead, try and keep the ball short or long. Just mix that up, long push or keep the ball short. Now these were just some generalizations to get you started, but when you're playing a match, always remember to think of speed, spin and placement. Vary those three things and find out what is most difficult for the opponent you're playing. Now I want to talk about tactics against left-handed players. Now when a left-handed player is serving, often they serve a pendulum serve from over on the left-hand side of the table. Now this is a different place to serve from a normal right-hander. So because you play less left-handers than you do right-handers, it's going to feel a little bit awkward. But the principles are the same. You've got to look for what type of spin they're generating on it and then counter that spin. So really all you need to do is probably position yourself slightly different, as we talked about in the receiving position, and then everything else should be the same. So try and practice against as many left-handers as you can, so you get used to playing against the serve coming from that angle.